When the hollow first appeared on the charts, everyone assumed it was just a mistake. A glitch in the system. The oil rig, K-19, had been out of commission since 2018. Just a ghost of steel rusting in the sea. But we kept a small crew on board, mostly ex-Navy sonar guys and overqualified scientists needing the extra cash. Our job was simple: run routine scans of the seafloor. Then one Tuesday, Elena Voss, our newest hydrographer, flagged something strange. 37 nautical miles west-southwest, the bottom of the ocean just stopped making sense. Every scan showed a perfect, flat plane at 1,840 meters deep. No cracks, no hills, nothing. The signal that bounced back was too clean, too perfect. It was like the seafloor was made of polished glass instead of mud and rock. The chief scientist brushed it off. Probably volcanic basalt, he said, or a data artifact. But Elena couldn't let it go. Instead, we decided to send down a remotely operated vehicle, an ROV. The company was short on cash, so we used a second-hand one, a beat-up yellow machine we called Remora 7. It had one camera and a robotic arm that was known to misbehave. The day we launched it, the sea was calm, the sky a dull, concrete gray. Everything went smoothly at first. As the ROV descended, we saw beautiful, ghostly creatures glowing in the dark. At 1,200 meters, though, the vehicle's lights started to flicker in a strange, slow rhythm. It wasn't a malfunction. It was like they were tapping out a message in a code nobody knew. Then, its compass locked, pointing north-northeast, and refused to move. At 1,672 meters, the hydrophone picked up a sound, a breath. Not a whale, not a dolphin, just a deep, wet inhalation, followed by an exhalation. One full cycle every 47 seconds. It sounded huge, like it came from lungs the size of shipping containers. Or maybe not lungs at all, but something just remembering how to breathe. The pilot, Marcus Haley, tried to joke. "Sounds like the trench has asthma," he said over the comms. No one laughed. Then, at 1,811 meters, the depth gauge started acting weird. It said we're still going down, but the altimeter, which measures the distance to the seafloor, dropped from 6 meters to 0 in less than a minute. The camera showed nothing but silt. There was no impact, no crash. The ROV was just sinking into the seabed like it was quicksand. Marcus cut the engines. He tried to reverse, but the telemetry showed we were still moving down, 1 centimeter per second. And then we heard the voice. It wasn't over the radio. It was inside our heads. A soft, wet voice that was not quite human. It said, "Please, don't leave the light on." Marcus immediately killed all the lights on the ROV. The screen went black. The only thing we could see were the depth numbers, which were now going backward. -12 meters. -47. -92. He switched to the infrared camera. And there it was, a face. It wasn't looking at us. It was looking up, toward the surface. Its mouth was so wide the corners disappeared off screen. Its eyes were mismatched. One was round like a fish's. The other was slitted like a goat's. A jagged scar ran down the middle of its face, as if 2 different creatures had been crudely sewn together. The skin seemed to ripple, like it was remembering how to breathe. It just floated there as our ROV sank deeper into negative numbers. At -318 meters, the video feed cut out. 3 days later, we pulled the umbilical cable back up. It was perfectly clean. No damage. But the meter markings printed on the cable had been changed. Every single one had been written over in black permanent marker. It read, "You were never here." Repeated over and over, 1,672 times. Marcus quit that night. He just packed his bag and left without even waiting for his final paycheck. His social media went silent. His mom later said he started sleeping with every single light in his house on. Then one morning, all the lights were off, and he was gone. We told ourselves it was just a coincidence. The company sent down a second ROV, Remora. This one was an upgrade, with a new, unshakable pilot named Lena Carver. We also dropped a chain of underwater microphones. At exactly 1,672 meters, The breathing started again, but this time, it wasn't alone. It was a chorus of breaths, all overlapping. Some high and wet, others so low they made the rig itself vibrate. Lena kept going down. At -94 meters, the microphones picked up voices. At first, just sounds like someone trying to learn a language they'd only heard once. Then, it became clear. We heard Marcus's voice, as if he were standing right there in the control room. "You left the light on." Lena's hands started to shake, but she kept going. Then another voice whispered. It was Elena, the scientist who'd first found the hollow. "It's nicer down here," she said. "Quiet. No schedules. Just breathing." Lena shut off the audio, but the voices didn't stop. They were inside her head now. At -276 meters, the camera picked up daylight. Bright, tropical sun shining through clear water. We saw white sand and a red beach umbrella. We could hear children laughing. And there, standing in the shallow water, wearing the same orange survival suit Lena had on, was Marcus Halle. He waved at the camera. A small, happy wave. Lena screamed and cut all power to the ROV. It went dark. Who's drifting? The data feed lasted for another 11 minutes. Then the depth gauge froze at -1,840 meters, the exact depth of the hollow, but inverted. As if the thing down there had decided our numbers were wrong. When we got Remerate back, only one single image was left on its hard drive. In it, the creature's mouth was open, wider than seemed physically possible. And inside its mouth wasn't darkness. It was the beach again. Marcus was still there, waving. But behind him, Elena Voss was standing in the water. She wasn't waving. She was pointing up at the sky. And in that tropical blue sky, there was a silhouette, a towering figure made of empty space, with arms too long and a head too small, leaning down like a parent checking on a sleeping child. That night, we turned off every single light on the rig. The whole platform was plunged into absolute darkness. Some of us stayed awake, just listening. The breathing didn't stop. It just got closer. Closer to the hole. Closer to our beds. Closer to us. Eventually, someone turned on a small reading lamp. The bulb flickered, then held steady. And from deep below us, a soft voice said, "Thank you. We never turned the lights off again. We finally understand. The hollow isn't a place under the ocean. We've been inside it this whole time. And the light is the only thing that's keeping the surface, our world, from collapsing down into it. So we keep every light on, all the time. Forever. Because we know if we ever let the darkness win, we'll hear the children laughing again. And this time, they'll be calling our names." Thanks for listening. If you enjoy stories that dig into the unknown, be sure to follow for more.